Well, we got back in the building yesterday and took a deep dive on things and really talked a lot about just the halfway point. Let's face it, 6 games in, 3-3, and coming off a loss that was not good enough, obviously, and then lent on the leadership of this team, discussion to what we want this thing to look like moving forward. Any potential issues we might have, and it was great. A lot of accountability amongst the team, responsibility, coaches included. I thought it was a really healthy day in regards to taking a deep look at so call it lack of execution at times, and some of it guys trying to do too much, wanting to make a play for the team type thing and getting outside the responsibility, and we got exposed multiple times and through that. So guys kind of owning up, talking about it, tweaked a little bit of how we looked at the video. I know offensively they watched it all as a unit, not just breaking down into your individual positions. I thought that was healthy in regards to like guys taking accountability. I could do this better, so an O-lineman seeing a route run and vice versa. And then they went back to work, a little bit shorter, but went back on the field and addressed and tried to make some corrections that way. Because we got to play better, and you think about us as coaches, myself to start, we got to get this team playing to their potential, and that was well short on Saturday. And so we look at reasons why that takes place, and then think about considerations of changes schematically, how you approach it, practice, personnel, the whole thing. So I thought it was a really good Sunday, and we got to be able to transition because we know what we're headed toward. Maybe the best team, one of the best teams in the country, playing really, really good football at their place. That'll be a serious challenge that we got to get ourselves prepared for, and it's an opportunity to start the back half of our season on the road against a really good team to continue to find ways to do it better. Injury front, we had a few guys throughout the game. Not a huge amount of updates here, but both, or really all, Aiden, Mike Macinas, and Dooley, all of them, we'll kind of see by the end of the week what those guys kind of look like. Optimistic, but we'll find out at the end of the week. Nakai Martinez, Ben Roberts, Jalen Thompson. Obviously, all 3 of those guys did not go on Saturday, but I'll always tell you it's a longer-term injury, and all 3 of those guys have a potential for this weekend, but we'll see by the end of the week. Questions?
Jonathan, in the event that Aiden can't play and he's shut down for the week, are you confident that Alessio is ready for the test that Indiana is going to pose?
I think Alessio's gotten into the game and showed some good signs. We do have confidence in, one, his capabilities, his preparation, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
And then I know, obviously, it was a tougher media cycle, obviously, after what happened after the last game, and I know that there were calls for buyouts and things like that, but as a coach and as a person, when you see that, I guess, how do you handle that sort of criticism as a person?
Mm-hmm. Not to take a shot at you guys at all. They were talking to me particularly, or things around the program. We do take some deep pride in our approach and how we're going about it. We want to be at a place, great energy, passion, compete at the highest level, and part of that, you want to do that, comes with the other side of things when it doesn't go right. So it's not a big surprise to me. I'll go back to the confidence and really steadfast and the people in that building that we've got, that we can right the ship here.
Talked after the game, and you alluded to this morning with your meetings yesterday about, we're well aware the performance wasn't there. Are you confident the passion and fire was? Is that an issue at all in your mind?
I do think that execution and energy are hand in hand. And so I do think there was, like I mentioned earlier, there was a good amount of want to and almost too much to get myself out of my responsibility. Give you an example, like you can want it as much as you want, you fly around. If you're supposed to be in the B gap and you're not in the B gap, that's not going to help our energy with another 15-yard gain. We had some of that going on. Think about kickoff return. The kicker, for them, hanging up there pretty good. Well, I want to go make a play, so I'm going to return this thing. We got the thing down up the 12-yard line. So we had some of that go that did not help it, some of the energy, because execution goes hand in hand. I will say, off of our first 2 road games in this conference, I did think there was a deep response in this team that did not show up on Saturday, and that was not good enough.
You figure out why?
Well, it leads to a little bit of execution, like I'm saying. It leads to the ability to stay within the scheme was a couple of things that stood out.
Jonathan, following up on that, the body language at times Saturday was troubling. People remarked about that. And Jalen Berger, after the game, said Michigan State didn't want to play anymore. As a coach, how problematic is that? What do you do about it?
I don't know if that's totally accurate in regards to not wanting to play, especially just feeding off of the conversations we had yesterday in regards to leadership standing up, guys pointing some things out. Again, body language is tough in regards when it's going really sideways, especially think about late in that game. But we got to find a way to bounce back, create some energy by some execution, and that's why we talked a lot about the back half of this season, what we got in front of us.
You talk about yesterday being a big day. What's the single biggest decision you face right now as a head coach?
I don't know, it's decisions. I think a lot of things are really, really important. And if it was just down to call it one person, if it was that simple, this one person to change this there, it could solve everything. I don't think it's that simple, or that's reality, right? It's about the left guard, it's about the quarterback, it's about our offensive staff, defensive staff, it's myself, a lot of things. I think it's really important to go back to this idea of staying together, finding ways to fix it and improve on it, and get it the program, the players to be playing at their highest potential.
Hey, Jonathan, as adults, we all have some type of pressure to perform in our jobs, but can you talk about when there's such a public expectation for you, for the guys? Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think about call it public and all of that. That's why I do found some deep belief within the building, right? Those so that you surround yourself with, and that's not just particular to me. I think about our own players are dealing with it, of being in a public sport, what they chose to do, and there's some beauty that comes with that, and there's some hard times that come with that. And then so when you come across some adversity, leaning into those that you're closest to and those things, and that's why I like our building and the people that are in the building.
Jonathan, how much different is this landscape right now as far as the pressure? You've talked about the to win now. I mean, you go back to when you got your first shot at Oregon State, it was what, year 4 before winning record? I mean, it feels like the clock has just sped up rapidly. Do you feel that change since you got into coaching, and especially as a head coach?
I do think that's some reality. There is some more immediate gratification that needs to take place. You think about the investments getting made in this environment. I'm speaking to broadly college athletics. I think there's some realities to, pushing and wanting things sooner than later.
Coach in the middle, after 3 straight losses, what changes are you going to use to make to turn the season around?
Oh, I think it changes. You're always looking at it schematically, right? Best positions and things and tendencies you put out on tape. So on the schematic side, I think we're adjusting, adapting each week, trying to, emphasize our strengths, minimize, not exposing weaknesses, those type of things. And it's easier said than done when, they got good coaches on the other side and good schemes and good players and all that. And I go back to finding ways where these guys play to their potential. When they're going to play their potential is when they're playing with certainty. So removing some uncertainty, whether that's over schematics, things like that, simple